This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, thank you for joining us. My name is Jane Golberg, and I'm a project coordinator with JM4C. And I'm just going to go through an overview of JM4C and describe some of our goals and activities. This is nice for any new coalition members, as well as a great refresher for some of our veteran coalition members. So first off, Janesville Mobilizing for Change is a state certified prevention agency that is creating a safer, healthier community. Our mission statement is a collaboration of proactive community members and groups committed to preventing and reducing substance use among all youth through advocacy, awareness, and action. And here you can see that we have our list of JM4C officers for 2019-2020. As well as on the right-hand side, you can see other community members who make up our board of directors, including our youth members. Now, for some of you may know that the city of Janesville is our fiscal agent. We needed to have a fiscal agent when we applied for our first federal grant, which was the Drug-Free Communities Grant. They needed a fiscal agent, so the Hedberg Public Library took us under their wing. So we are actually considered a department of the Hedberg Public Library. In addition to having a fiscal agent, we also have our own 501c3 nonprofit status. That is something that we applied for in 2016 because we know that grants do expire, so we wanted to have that future sustainability set up. So the staff of JM4C consists of Erin Davis, our director, Kathy Como, myself, Sherry Faber, and Zandy Finn, our project coordinators, and Kathy is also our evaluator. So these are our major funding sources: our Drug-Free Communities Grant, our Partnership for Success Grant, that will be ending at the end of September. We also have a Sober Truth on Preventing Underage Drinking or STOP grant that will also be ending at the end of September. Our Office of Women's Health grant will be ending at the end of June. And we also have a Rock County Human Services contract, our Sexual Violence Prevention Program. That is a new grant that was awarded in February of this year. And then we're also proud to be a United Way Blackhawk Region funded partner. So I'm going to go into a little bit more details on each of these grants. So our Drug-Free Communities Grant, or DFC grant, is a 5-year grant through SAMHSA and ONDCP, which stands for the Office of National Drug Control Policy. You are able to receive 2 5-year funding cycles, and JM4C is in year 8. So when our funding cycle runs out, we are no longer eligible for DFC funding. New this year is the grant will be housed under the CDC, Centers for Disease Control. That transition took place in, I believe, February, and I don't see that affecting any of our activities related to this grant. It's been a pretty smooth process. This grant is $125,000 a year, and there is also a match requirement. So our long-term substance abuse goals are to decrease underage drinking and teens vaping nicotine. So some of the activities that we do include our Reality Maze, which is our big event held at the middle schools in the spring. Red Ribbon Week, which is a drug and alcohol awareness week that we do at the elementary schools that participate in Janesville. We also have a role modeling campaign. And last fall, we launched a podcast called Together for Change. And on that podcast, we talk about different topics of substance misuse like alcohol, vaping, and we talk to other partners in the community. We're always looking for new ideas for topics or people to interview. So if you have a suggestion, please reach out to myself or Erin. And then we're just out in the community, increasing awareness about reducing substance abuse. So this is where the term coalition really comes from, because in order to receive the DFC funding, you had to be a coalition. So back in late 2011, early 2012 is when the coalition really started laying the groundwork and getting things in order. We found sectors to be involved, bylaws, elected officers. So we really set ourselves up to be in a position to be a coalition to apply for that funding. Coalitions who receive DFC funding also get training through CADCA, which is the Community Anti-Drug Coalitions of America. They have a lot of great resources about coalition building, capacity, and prevention. This project is staffed by myself and Zandy. The next grant I'm going to talk about is the Partnership for Success Grant, or PFS. This was a 4-year grant through the state, and it was for $50,000 a year. And although we are the grantee, we collaborated with the other Rock County coalitions to address prescription drug misuse. So that includes Building a Safer Evansville, Healthy Edgerton, and Youth to Youth for Change in Beloit. So some of the programs that we did under this grant include Hidden in Plain Sight, which is where we make a mock teenager's bedroom and then scatter drug paraphernalia throughout. So it's really an awareness program for parents and other adults to kind of see what the drug trends are, what to look for if you suspect that your teen is using drugs, and also how to talk to your kids about drugs. We also do several drug take-back events throughout the community. We host about 5 to 7 a year, and we kind of go all over the community. We go to the library, we go to the farmer's market, and then we hit some shopping centers on different sides of Janesville. And then we also partner with the police department to do presentations called Good Drugs Gone Bad. And these are just presentations to raise awareness about medication safety. So like I said, this grant really helps build collaboration between the 4 Rock County coalitions. At the bottom of the screen, you can see the image of Lock Up Your Meds. That is a billboard campaign that we did a couple of years ago. We know that people travel throughout the county. They don't just stay in one community usually. So we really wanted to make sure that they were seeing the same message. And this project is staffed by myself and Erin. The next grant is called the Sober Truth on Preventing Underage Drinking, or the STOP grant. This is a 4-year grant that is only eligible to DFC recipients, and this was just under $50,000 a year. So the goal of this grant was to decrease underage drinking among LGBTQ youth and increase protective factors and decrease risk factors for use. We know from our youth risk behavior survey that students who identify as LGBTQ have a higher risk for abusing substances than their heterosexual peers. So Kathy did a lot of great things under this grant, including the Spectrum Series presentations held at the library throughout the year. This really raises awareness on the LGBTQ population. Offered substance-free activities for LGBTQ youth, and also hosted the Pride in the Park event, which is held at Lower Courthouse Park in the month of June for Pride Month, and then additional education and awareness campaigns throughout the community. And this project is staffed by Kathy. Next, we have the Office of Women's Health Grant. This grant will be ending at the end of June. This is a 3-year grant through the Office of Women's Health under the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and it was for $100,000 per year. And the goal of this grant is to reduce the impact of trauma on youth and increase resilience. So Sherry did a lot of great work under this grant. She really got a lot of support from community partners to develop programs like Handle with Care, Drug Endangered Children, and then offered a lot of opportunities for community education on adverse childhood experiences and resilience. Next up is our Rock County Human Services contract, and this contract is for $15,000 a year. This is actually a decrease in funding compared to previous years. In previous years, we had the task of staff supporting the heroin task force and Rock for Recovery event. New this year, the county is actually going to be doing that in-house and having their own prevention person in charge of those activities. However, the funding that we have is still going to support prevention activities, such as providing technical assistance to do the youth risk behavior survey within the schools, and also the Place of Last Drink project. We are entering our third year for this project, and this is where we collect data from all of the law enforcement agencies in the county. So whenever someone is pulled over for a suspected OWI, the question is always asked, where were you when you had your last drink of alcohol? So from that data, we can kind of comb through and see if we notice any patterns of repeated bars or restaurants that keep being named as a place of last drink. And that's really an opportunity for us to work with the police department to provide education to that establishment, maybe on not preventing over serving or safe, sober servers and things like that. It's not meant to be punitive, but more as an education component. And then also we will be responsible for coordinating the public awareness and environmental strategy subcommittees under the heroin task force, which is now called the Substance Misuse Task Force. Next up is the Sexual Violence Prevention Program grant. Like I said earlier, this is our newest grant. It was awarded, it actually started in early February, and this will be a 4-year grant by the Centers for Disease Control and administered by the state of Wisconsin. And this is for $70,000 per year. And the goal of this grant is to decrease instances of sexual violence in the county. We know that sexual violence and substance abuse have a reciprocal relationship. So the first year of this grant is really working on building collaboration with community partners and developing capacity, and then creating an action plan for future years. Next, we are also a United Way Black Hawk Region funded partner. That is something that we received last summer, and this is a 2-year funding cycle for $25,000 a year. And this is really great because this funding allows us to take what we do a step further. A lot of our federal grants have restrictions on what we can support. So this is a way that we can get out into the community and reach populations we don't usually reach. We're providing substance-free activities for youth and their families every month. We have a Prevention in the Park series, and this takes place at 4th Ward Park. And the first couple of months have been really successful as we are outside and the weather is nicer. And then winter came and it got a little harder to get people to attend. And then now with the stay-at-home order, Zandy is working really hard on doing online events. Right now we have a bingo event going on that's open to youth and adults, adapting healthy behaviors and trying to earn a bingo. And then once they submit that back to us, they are eligible to receive some gift cards. We are also working on decreasing youth vaping. So working with the schools to look at their tobacco policy to make sure that it is comprehensive and includes electronic cigarettes. We're also working on increasing anti-bullying efforts within the community. There's a great bullying prevention program called the Olves program, and that has been around for many, many years and has a lot of science behind it and really great outcomes. The outcomes include a decrease in bullying, a decrease in substance abuse, and a decrease in truancy. So our plan is to work with our community partners, such as the Boys and Girls Club, to offer a training on this program for staff working with youth. So hopefully more to come later this summer on that. And then next, we were going to build the Life of an Athlete program at Janesville schools. We had this all set up and ready to go. John Underwood from Life of an Athlete program was going to be in Janesville talking to both Craig and Parker students on April 9th. And unfortunately, we had to cancel that event. It's something we are still hoping to do and hopefully reschedule for later this fall. But the Life of an Athlete program really engages youth, not just athletes, but youth on a healthy lifestyle. So making sure they're getting enough sleep, good nutrition, regular exercise, avoiding substances. And these youth leaders are really acting as role models to their peers. And it's a really great program that is done nationwide. So we're hoping we can bring that at a later date. We also do some other nonprofit activities. We do an anti-bullying poster contest. We just wrapped up the 4th year of that contest. New this year was we expanded it to reach elementary schools as well. As you can see to the right, that's an image of one of our past year's winners. So the goal is to really create images of respect, kindness, anti-bullying images. And it's really great to see all the youth submissions. They have some very talented artists in our community. We also have an SSM Health mini grant that was received last year to work on anti-vaping initiatives. So what we did is we developed YouTube ads where we showed youth what kind of chemicals are actually in e-cigarettes, and those ads played all across the county. And we know that youth do watch YouTube and they have to sit through ads before they can watch their next video. So we knew that was a successful effort. We also had a vape cart that we had different chemicals set up to show individuals what is actually in e-cigarettes. So there was a car battery, there was a bottle of formaldehyde, things like that. It was a really great conversation starter when people walked past the vaping cart. And that is something that we took to a lot of our community events. We took it to the Rock County 4-H fair, we took it to parent-teacher conferences, we had it in the schools. So it really made its way throughout the community. We also do other fundraising activities to build our future sustainability. Now, this last page is a list of our acronyms because there are a lot. So this is just a handy resource to kind of be your guide on what we talk about. And this will be on our website, so you can refer back to it as often as you wish. And that was all that I had for you. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to us at JM4C. Our phone number is 608-741-2105. Thank you.